I am Derek Jameson. I'm a QHHT past life regression practitioner, a spiritual life coach, and intuitive channel. And this is a series where I interview incredible people that do amazing things in the world for themselves, for other people, for the world at large. And today I have James Stewart, who's the creator of Conjure cleaning. Like, you're an 11-year Hoodoo practitioner, a Rootworker, tarot card reader, and I'm so excited to learn more about Hoodoo and the roots of it. You know, I know you posted videos and postings, but that's what this opportunity for is to tell me a little bit more, tell the people that are watching.
Yeah. So Hoodoo is the first Black American religion. Um, Believe it or not, what is Hoodoo is actually a hard question right now because um, in the community, there's a lot of discussion of reclaiming the description of it. Like in the past 10 years or so, um, there have been books written about Hoodoo by non-Black authors, and it's been described as, first it got described as like African American folk magic, and then it got described as Southern folk magic, and then it turned into this broad like American folk magic system. Um, but the roots of it are Black. So what happened when the Africans were brought to America and forced into slavery is they had to make a new religion. You had Africans from all different parts of the continent, very different tribes, very different cultures, stuck in, one place with the common goal of survival, of fighting oppression, of how do we, make sense of this new land? How do we make sense of this forming country? And these are people who prioritize spirituality first. Like, that's how Africans made sense of the world. Yes, they understood science and math and all those other things, but spirituality first. So that was such an important thing. So that's when Hoodoo was starting to form, and it it just it's a mix of different parts of Africa, and then it's a blend of America. But different religions were happening at the same time, like voodoo in Haiti and parts of New Orleans, just because of that connection. Um, and then the many different religions that were happening in South America, where the Africans were being forced into slavery there. But in America, it's hoodoo. So that's kind of the roots of it. And then just as much as the Black community has shifted and changed, like hoodoo started being folded into Christianity. And that's kind of evident still today when you look at the Black church and how different it is from different types of Christianity, at least modern Christianity. Um, but this blending and sort of like mixing goes hand in hand with how the Black community in America has um, kind of evolved into where we are today.
So how do you, with clients or people that you work with, how do you incorporate Hoodoo as a practitioner?
Yeah, so there is magic in hoodoo, and um, a lot of what I do is root work. So root work is creating spiritual connections to plants and then using them for particular goals, like for healing or for cleansing or prosperity works, love works, like those sorts of things. Whatever a goal is, you're working with the spiritual aspect of a plant to achieve that goal. Um,
Mm.
so I have, different plants that I create connections with, and then I use them in my work for clients and then for myself as well.
That's amazing. So you do, I know that you incorporate tarot with some of the root working sometimes if it's necessary. Explain how
Mm-hmm.
you incorporate tarot card readings with Hoodoo and also root working.
Yeah. So I know any situation I come across, I like to see like big picture, like what's going on. So I'm always big on stepping into divination first. And I've been practicing tarot on and off for years, but I really sharpened my skills at in the past couple of years so that I could use it in my practice with conjure cleaning. And that just helps see like a situation versus big picture situation versus when a client's like, hey, can you connect me back to this ex, or, you know, can you connect me back to a loved one? And I'm just going off of their word versus, okay, well, let's see what sort of, you know, underlying situation is going here. And then sometimes it's like, actually, your ancestors don't want you to have this thing open up because of X, Y, and Z, because you haven't done this, this, and this. So that's why all the work you've been doing is blocked. And then we go from there. But that's why I'm like, divination first is always the best to see a whole picture of a situation.
That's amazing. I love that. You know, just being a card reader myself and having done that in the past, I know that, you know, the information that can come forward, and it is definitely something that where our ancestors step in to help heal certain timelines of their own past, as well as staying around spiritually to work with ours so that we can heal family timelines and we can move
Right.
and move on up. And
Right.
it's like, and so I just love hearing about how you incorporate all of that with your work. Now, you do candle services, like group candle services. Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I started doing that some point last year when, um, I don't know if something was happening in the news, or it just felt um, like a lot of the things that come to me, I'm like, somebody should be doing this. And then it turns into, oh, I should do this. Duh. Like that's why the idea came. And I'm like, somebody should be doing service of protection, like spiritual service of protection for people who need it. Cause that's like a necessity. Um, and I was like, well, I should just start doing a group protection candle service. And I've been doing that, especially like since things like hit the fan with this whole pandemic. The way it works is I cap it at 21 people. Um, 21 being a significant number because 3 and 7, like you divide those. 3 is a spiritual number that can't be broken down, and 7 being the number of completion. So, like if I have 21 people, when you cut it, it can't be cut any further. So they're good in that way. And then I use a candle for healing, and then fix, you know, individual candles for those people, and then line the whole thing up with protection work, so that they're both healed and protected. And I've been doing that like for the past um, about month and a half now. And I'm taking a little break just so I can like get back to some of my own stuff, but I'll probably be kicking that back up soon again.
And if they want to find people that are watching this or going to hear this later, if they want to find information on those group candle services, they can find it on your page.
Yeah, yeah. I post it. Sometimes it's a little last minute, but I try to give like a heads up of like I'm going to be posting about um, a group candle burn. You know, if you're interested.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what is your, like, what got you into doing this as a work? I mean, would you say this is your life purpose? And if so, like, what drew you to that? What led you to this, to wanting to do this?
Yeah, I'd say this is my life purpose, and um, the story. It's a long story, but I'll try to give the spark notes. So when I was 13, I was being a 13-year-old, and I was going through my sister's dresser drawer, and I found a book on Wicca at the time, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And she wasn't really into that stuff, but she bought it just, you know, on a whim. And my mind was blown. I was like, oh my God, this stuff's real. So I studied the book, you know, forwards, backwards, all sorts of ways. And then I just wanted to learn more and do more. And I just was absorbing as much information about spirituality as I could. And it wasn't until I want to say like 17 or so that I was like, I need something um, black. Like I need something that resonates with me and my experiences.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember finding a book on voodoo, and it was terrible. A lot of books on voodoo are kind of at that time were terrible, that I found at like our Barnes and Noble. But then I found a book on root work that was actually pretty good. And it gave a great description at the time of um, Blackness in relationship to, you know, hoodoo and root work and what that means. And for a couple of years after that, like my early 20s, I would kind of yo-yo. Like I would get really into magical studies and practicing stuff, and then maybe something would happen. Like maybe I would do something and it wouldn't manifest the way that I wanted to, and things were kind of haywire. So I would like hide all my books or throw them away and then go to church. Like I would yo-yo back and forth, and it got to the point that my spirits, like my ancestors, were on to me, and they're like, it's time for you to stop looking at hoodoo as this like gimmick, or this sort of like let me add a little spice, or let me, you know, I I, I was using it as a like, I need to get a job, I need to get more money, I need to da 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 da, instead of appreciating it for the ancestral religion that it is.
Yeah.
And when I started to take it more seriously around like 22, 23, and actually created connections with my ancestors and started listening, and that's when things really shifted and got more rooted for me in my practice. And I'm kind of continuing, like I'm on a continuum of that, just like trying to go deeper and deeper. At the time, in my early 20s, I was in LA. And about 2 years ago, I was thinking of moving to New Orleans because I have friends down there, and it seemed like a great idea at the time. But that started to unravel, and I was like, well, I'm already packed up and getting ready to move. I guess I'm going to move here, back home to North Carolina. And I didn't realize the whole time I was being brought back here to kind of realize with, you know, different eyes that everything I had around me this whole time growing up has influenced my spirituality and my magic and everything today. Like I walk around and I'm like, oh my God, like there's so much stuff here. And now that I'm able to listen more and see things differently, I recognize it on a whole nother level. So I'm like, oh yeah, this has been my whole life. I just didn't see it.
I know exactly what you mean. We have similar stories in that way where a lot of me not wanting to get into it when I was younger was the fact it was judgment, because I was judged since I was a little kid. So if you add on like spirituality or divination or that, it was more of like ego started to build when I was younger without even really realizing it. And
Right.
I shut all that away, and it wasn't until I was kind of like pushed into it and be like, no, you're not fulfilling your purpose and what you're supposed to do. And isn't it
Right.
amazing the minute we go back to the places that we live and we see everything that was like teaching us lessons in in our homes, in our backyards, in our community. It was all
Yeah.
right there for us, and we had to step back into that place with our full heart open to
Right.
be able to be ready for that. So it's so incredible hearing you talk about. It's so cool. So that's an amazing story. And now you're sharing that and bringing that awareness to other people.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because you're like, oh yeah, like growing up, I was so hungry to get out and see the world. And then now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, that thing is true the whole time. It's like, you know, you have everything with you the whole time. Like that whole, it's true. It tells itself in different ways, but it's true for all of us to an extent. It's funny.
Now you are, we discovered this last night, but you're a master 11 like me.
Yes, and so are you.
I was like, oh my God, this explains so much. And it's funny because we just like at one point we accepted our missions that we created for ourselves before coming here.
Right,
and we
right.
come, and that's why you really stepped into your role. And I'm looking up, and it says 22 at the top of the thing. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And today's the 22nd.
yes, oh my gosh, thank you, universe.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, and it's amazing because when you finally step into your role, those that 11, that alignment of those two ones really showcases your role as a leader and as a master intuitive person. And that's why even the first day I met you, I felt such balance with you, and I really like connected with you because I was like, I felt so on the same plane with you. But like in a different way where I can learn from you and still and share with you. So
Right, right.
it was so cool. And then finding that out, yeah, literally last night, you guys, we found out this stuff. It made so much sense that you're a Master 11 and you're balanced and you're here to lead people and teach them. And there's people that have been commenting while you talked and talking about how you've changed their lives and how much like you mean to them. So you're gonna have to like read that at one point, but they
I'm new to this live thing, so I don't want to touch my phone because I like actually set it in a way where I'm like, okay, if I touch it, she's gonna fall. So I'll figure out the comments after.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet, and I was like, oh, so much love is in this little space right now, and even though we're in separate places, everybody, I'm sure you can feel the energy and the love and just the healing and us really connecting to the earth right now. So this is
Yeah.
incredible. So along with root working, you have a shop that has candles, sage sticks, and smudge sticks. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and why you
Yeah.
created
Yeah.
that?
Um, so that I started this company back in LA, and I guess the backstory starts when um, I was in LA. I was tired of like um, retail jobs and service industry jobs because I sucked at them. So I was like, what about cleaning houses? Like I forgot how I stumbled into like home cleaning, but I was like, wait, I love this. Like just legit home cleaning. And my clientele list grew really big to the point where I had a team of people working for me taking up like the surplus jobs, and it was great. Things were great. Um, and then I had this like little idea of like, what if somebody like spiritually cleanse people's houses like I do for myself? And then that like grew into like, what if I did that? And then that grew into I I need to do this. This is what like that's why the idea is nagging in the back of my head. Oh, I need to create a company where I'm spiritually cleansing other people's houses the way I do for myself. And I like started to realize, oh, I kind of do this when I clean people's houses. Not every one of them, but like I'm on small levels, um, shifting the energy when I'm cleaning their house and I'm singing, when I'm cleaning their house and I'm like um, talking to myself, which I do a lot, but talking like intentionally, like positive stuff in the rooms and all that stuff. So when I was in LA, I started like fleshing out what it would look like, what my process would look like, um, based in root work, like based in the ways that um, old school conjure people would cleanse homes and bless their homes and protect their homes. So that process, I started doing that for friends in LA. And I remember my first friend that I did it for. Oh, she was so sweet. Like, she was staying in her apartment while I was cleansing, and I was I was trying to stay to like what I had set up in my mind of like, okay, this is how the working is going to go. And then things kind of went in a different direction at one point, and I had this nugget of like, oh, um, in a couple of days, you're gonna feel this window of energy that you need to step into, because the goal was to make sure that her home felt like a charging dock instead of like a hideaway,
Mm.
so that when she went home, it felt more like she's charged up and to enter the world as Superwoman instead of hiding and then crawling back out into the world. So while I was cleansing, I had this like, oh, in a couple of, I don't know when, but soon you're going to have this window of new energy to step into. Don't miss it. And then a couple days later, she hits me back and she's like, um, I did it. I told my boss that I'm quitting my job like her boss and another coworker backed her into a corner because they were being like assholes to her. And it was to the point of like she had no option but to step into that energy. And I was like, got it. Yes.
Success.
You're right. So then I did that for a couple of other people, and then I started doing it for some clients in LA. And this was also around the time where I was like, New Orleans, question mark. And then moved back here. And I started to break down my process into products, like in kits, and figured out, well, how can I sell this stuff, sell parts of what I do to people so that they can do it in their own homes. And then that is starting to turn into recognizing that there's a need and that I can create a product for that. Like, maybe there's a situation where somebody is in a room that's just like tons of stagnant or like, you know, that static, fratic, or scattered energy. And you're just like, I just want to calm this room down. How do I do that? So I'm like, oh, what if there's a spray where you just like spray and say a prayer and the room like calms down? Or things to clear up, you know, mind funk and confusion. Yes, there are amazing techniques and ways to do this, but I'm such a like physical, like I need something tactile type of person where I need to burn something, I need to spray something, I need to sit in a bath, or I need to light a candle. Like that's how I unlocked the sort of, that's how I unlocked the sort of, you know, spiritual codes for myself to do that work, that I know that other people ways. So that's where things kind of click.
So how can they find your products if they want to, if people that are watching want to buy them?
Yeah. On my Instagram, I post about when I have new products, and in my Etsy store, I have a link in my bio that has like all the links, and there's one in there that just says shop. So that's my Etsy store. And then that's where I post my new products and when I restock stuff and all that jazz.
Yes, and the spray completely calms the room, especially his frankincense incense. I was able to say that one because it was right at perfect timing, but they are like really talking you like what you do up right now, and it's probably the most that people have chimed in about someone's work. So you're really fulfilling your purpose and your mission, and that just reading that while you're talking about that, it just I'm like, oh, this feels so amazing. What is a practical tool that we can take away with us? Like if we wanted to do something today that would bring calming to us, or whatever you want to share, what is something that people can take away?
It might sound simple as hell, but one thing that I always forget and that I'm oftentimes brought to remembering is the power of our voices, and how much power that we like. You can speak energy into walls, you can speak energy into floorboards, you can speak energy into air. Like no matter, like if I'm stuck on a deserted island and have no tools whatsoever, prayerfully I still have my voice. If not, I have my thoughts. But like it's a blessing to be able to use your voice, and I think we should never forget that, especially in the many ways fear can manifest and rob us of remembering that we can use our voice, and rob us of the ways that we know how to use our voice. Like you can speak truth to power. You can tell that bully to shut up. You can tell that person, you know, to back off. You can do all these different things with your voice. So I think that's just my little like reminder that I want to share of like, we still have that. We have that power. If we have nothing at all, we have that.
That's amazing. People are literally talking about, someone said they're going to your shop right now. Conjure cleaning on Etsy. They, I think you have like an army that is like, oh no, we got this. He's a king. We're all his people, and we're gonna plug him because he's amazing. It's really,
Oh,
look at, see.
now I can see them.
That's so amazing.
Hey,
And
Micah.
a friend of mine was like, she wants your frankincense incense, and yeah, it's just
I'm
really
not gonna.
cool.
I want to scroll up, but I'm not gonna touch it. But
I
the
know.
ones at the bottom.
It gets scary because you don't know what it's gonna do. So go ahead, and I know we just talked about some of your stuff, but give your website or how, like, the easiest ways people can find you, and you have a YouTube as well.
Yeah. I just started YouTube, and I'm going to be making more videos. One thing that I've been doing is reading more books on hoodoo, because people ask me, what are some good book recommendations? And even though this is mostly an oral tradition sort of thing, there are some good books out there. And I want to start making reviews and like sharing some of the good ones that are worth reading. Um, so my YouTube is Conjure Cleaning. You just type that in YouTube and that'll pop up. My website is www.conjurecleaning.com. And then my Instagram is here, The Conjure Cleaner. And any of those sort of like, there'll be a link to the site, to all my different sites, like my Etsy store or my Instagram or my YouTube and so on and so forth.
Perfect. Oh, this is so amazing. Do you have anything else that you would like to say or share with the people today?
Um, if you can, don't forget to go outside. Like if you can go outside, but
Like,
like,
no, but like if you can go outside, then go outside.
can go outside. Like I've been trying to remember to just like get my bare feet on some grass and like, unplug for a little bit.
Yeah, I got up at around 5 this morning. I was so charged and I was so I went to bed really late too, and I was just like, I guess we're doing this. And I literally went for a run right away. Like right away, I was just like breathing in the air before the world starts to wake up. It was such a
Wow.
beautiful experience, and I just felt the charge of energy today. And then I knew
Mm-hmm.
that we were going to be doing this, so it made me extra excited to hop on with you. And I think it literally, tune into numbers, you guys, because it literally divinely lined up that we happen to do this today, right now, and the twos and the 22s and the master 11s, and I can't wait
By the
to.
way, your video last night was amazing
Oh, thank you.
on numerology. And are you continuing that?
I am. That's a series that was just like a little smidgen, and then I'm going to start breaking pieces down because
Okay.
it speaks volumes to my daily life, like every hour of the day. I can't even, and I want people to harness that power and understand it a little bit more, so I am going to go more into that.
Numerology is fascinating to me. I don't know it enough, but I'm like, I mean, there's correspondences of numerology in hoodoo. Like, it touches every sort of spiritual path in different ways that you're
Yes.
just like, spirits are talking.
Yeah.
The numbers are talking.
They are trying to get through any way possible. Numbers, vibrations, number of your house, number of the day
Right.
you came. I mean, that's why I broke it down with the day of your birth is very important to
Yeah.
the vibration you chose that you wanted to carry out. And then when we
Right.
look at our destiny numbers, like the life path is really what direct, like the path we're taking to get to our destiny, to fulfill
Mm-hmm.
that destiny. And I just want everyone to really, I want people to have the power back in their hands, and that's why I'm sharing all that information and just trying to like take it. Whoever wants it, take
Yeah. Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen, James, this is so amazing. Like, I feel so lit up and so like fully charged today. I'm like Earth Day, new moon, 22, like 2024. It's I
Yes.
truly appreciate you talking with me. I truly appreciate everyone that signed on and listened to this. Thank you for talking about hoodoo and its roots. Like I really wanted to learn about that, and I think we should like hop on so often just to kind of like I want to learn more, and I think other
Yeah.
people want to learn more, and I feel like you're a powerful teacher, so we have to do it
Thank you.
again. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me, Derek.
You're welcome.
This was amazing.
You're welcome. And there will be many more. Many more.
Yes.
All right, everybody. We thank you so much for being here. I'm Derek Jameson. This is James Stewart of Conjure Cleaning, and we will talk to you soon.